Her color does not matter. It should not matter. But why does that seem to be the topic? And that's because integrity matters. And I don't mean the standard politician lie matter. I mean, hell, Trump is a huge liar politically, but so is she. They all lie. Politicians lie. That's why I don't like none of them. Both blue or red, Democrat, Republican, all of them lie, man. They all are liars. But when it gets down to the pandering part, when you get to shucking and jiving and you start using cultural appropriation to get ahead, that's where a lot of people have a problem. And that's why it's such a big topic with this whole race thing with her, because it's almost like, what would you brothers rather have, beautiful lies or ugly truth when it comes to somebody's identity? And if you got somebody who's going to give you beautiful lies and smile in your face and say, hey, brother, I'm in these streets and talking all this, they giving you the jive talking. And then they go over to another one and then they all of a sudden, I'm not even going to act like I'm them, but start being like them. And then they go over here and start being like, it's like, oh, so you're going to play like everybody as long as you in their face. Well, first, Darwin, remember, presidents don't pass laws. I know you was asking about, can a president come in and do something specifically? Well, they do have executive order power, and a president does have the ability to, through their executive orders, to execute certain protections for particular protected classes. And so that's why they do things for the alphabet community. You'll see, I remember a couple years ago when Asians were being attacked randomly, the president did swiftly came in and did something for that protected class. And Black Americans are a protected class. We are. Just that nobody does anything for us using their executive order. With that swift pen, power of the pen, nobody's ever felt the need for protecting us particularly. We're just considered Americans when it comes to that kind of stuff, even though congressionally speaking, we are a protected class. So they can't pass laws, but they can make an executive order, and then which can kick in something. This is what Abraham Lincoln did to protect us if necessary. It just doesn't happen, man. It just doesn't happen. And that's one of the arguments that a lot of people have.
Isn't there a workaround to
that? There's no workaround necessary. You just got to find somebody that wants to do it.
For example, let's say you're the president, and I am a policy approval authority. I'm sorry. I'm on a committee that enforces policies or draft policies to send to your desk to get signed off.
It doesn't work like that, but I
think there's some level somewhere below you as the president. I'm the level below you that actually brings you the documents that, hey, look, we need this to be put into policy.
Well, that's Congress, then the House of Representatives. Then it comes to you. You have the veto power. You could be like, nope, I'm not signing it, and it just falls dead.
Right. You can so what I'm saying is, if let's say me and you, we fucking go out and get ice cream or coffee or some shit. Hey, look, man, I got some people that's under me that's selling some forms up that they want some changes and shit. I'm just letting you know, next month it's gonna be your desk whether you want to sign it.
Oh, now you're talking about lobbyists. So you're a lobbyist.
So what I'm saying is, there's a workaround to you actually making orders that come into policy in effect. You can have a conversation with me and be like, hey, look, why don't y'all change this shit right here? Because I don't really like this. Add this because this really going to benefit my people or benefit some shit that I got going on over there in Nevada or some shit. I'm like, okay, cool. We're going to send this up then. So that's what I'm saying the workaround is. Nobody knows that kind of part of the conversation is left out.
What we do, that means, so then we speak on, let's talk about the Congressional Black Caucus. So we've had them forever. And the Congressional Black Caucus is supposed to do what you just said. The argument is, where's our Congressional Black Caucus? Are they just sitting around twiddling thumbs? Where when it comes to other protected classes, as we'll say, whether it's APAC, or for them, or whether it's the alphabet community for them, or whoever it is, they seem to get shit done and do things that's necessary for the people that they represent. When it comes to us, we just be like, and one of the issues is the people that they represent don't put no pressure on them. Like, we not tripping. All we care about is Diddy. You know, all we care about is going to concerts, basketball, and when the NFL is back in season. You know, that kind of stuff. So we're not serious as a community, because this is the argument on, do we have a community? Back to what we had a while back. We don't come together because we don't have a common goal as a people. We got all these broken factions, and because we're all divided and separated, we can't come together to use our power politically, economically, however you want to say, to get shit done, because we're fragmented. And so, like, for instance, what you're saying is somebody that's talking and says, hey man, we need to do such and such for these brothers and sisters, or we need to do something for our people. When you look at the Congressional Black Caucus, you say, well, what are you guys doing over there in the meetings that you guys convene every month? What are y'all doing? Nothing.
And I'm
So
glad you
what
made that. I'm glad you made that point, because you and I served in the armed forces, and we know that Colonel sign off of it. You just got to bring it to him.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, y'all want some shit done? Put it on my desk and I'll check over it.
Yeah. Now imagine black people not having anybody to take it to the desk. Even though we supposed to have somebody up there that does it for us, we don't have nobody to do that for it. We don't have there's no black lobbyists. Anyways, so there's that. Trev had said something. Oh, Trev was talking about presidents knowing everything. He was talking about things like climate change. You know, Trev, I don't expect my president to know everything. And I don't know everything. What I expect, though, from a president is, or any kind of leader, is resourcefulness. Like with JR, with the Lapeef Network, JR doesn't have to know everything, but JR needs to be resourceful to make sure that this network runs smoothly. I expect you, Trev, to not know everything, but if you have a business, if you're an entrepreneur, you got something going on, or whatever you even do in your job, I expect you to be resourceful. And that's what I want our president to be. I always felt that way after I read the book, Think and Grow Rich, because Henry Ford, he believed that you didn't need to know everything way back in the day when he was put into a libel suit, because they were making it seem like he was an idiot and he was a dummy. And so he went on the witness stand, and somebody asked him some pedantic question, and he responded, why should I bother knowing that what my associate does? Why should I clutter my mind with general knowledge when I could surround myself with a bunch of people with that specialized knowledge who will give me the answer on demand? And so from a presidential standpoint, I don't need the president to know about climate change. I mean, I get it. What's our man that ran for president? He was the vice president, and he did
Rand Paul? No, not Rand Paul.
Uncomfortable Truth documentary. I forget, on climate change.
Al Gore.
Al Gore. Thank you. You know, he knows about climate change, but I don't necessarily need Obama or Trump or even or Biden or any president to know the important things, the way it seemed like you laid it out, Trev, about a particular thing. But I do expect my president to be able to surround themselves with the experts that do know, so they can advise them the best way they can. Which leads me. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. Okay. Which leads me to JR's original question about Janet Jackson. Shout out to Janet Jackson. I'm with Marcus with this one. And the thing is, for those that say, man, I think it was Darwin that had said, why are we tripping on this color? We can't listen, color matters not. Her color does not matter. It should not matter. But why does that seem to be the topic? And that's because integrity matters. And I don't mean the standard politician lie matter. I mean, hell, Trump is a huge liar politically, but so is she. They all lie. Politicians lie. That's why I don't like none of them. Both blue or red, Democrat, Republican, all of them lie, man. They all are liars. But when it gets down to the pandering part, when you get to shucking and jiving and you start using cultural appropriation to get ahead, that's where a lot of people have a problem. And that's why it's such a big topic with this whole race thing with her, because it's almost like, what would you brothers rather have? Beautiful lies or ugly truth? when it comes to somebody's identity. And if you got somebody who's going to give you beautiful lies and smile in your face and say, hey, brother, I'm in these streets and talking all this, they giving you the jive talking. And then they go over to another one and then they all of a sudden, I'm not even going to act like I'm them, but start being like them. And then they go over here and start being like, it's like, oh, so you're going to play like everybody as long as you in their face. This is one of the issues that Hillary Clinton had with the hot sauce when she went on the Breakfast Club. And they say, well, wait, how can you stand somebody like Trump? Trump is like, look, I'm an asshole to all of y'all. I ain't trying to be like none of y'all. And you don't like what I say, but it's the truth. What would you rather have? Somebody that's in your face telling you a beautiful, remember, they all lie politically. All of them ain't shit. Just like Trev said, they all got shitty personalities. But if you had to pick one, you want one that's smiling in your face and dogging you behind your back, or is going to dog you in your face and say, can you live with it? And that's the argument that a lot of people have. And that's why her racial identity matters and why it's such a topic, because when it comes to whether you say when you're conveniently black and then you're conveniently Indian and you're conveniently Canadian and you're conveniently American and so on and so, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't know if I could trust anything that you do to be for the best interest of the people of the United States. And that's one of the arguments. And speaking on Trump, Marcus, you have mentioned how Trump was with Michael Jackson. You know, it's interesting how, and if I don't know if you guys are starting to notice it, it's amazing how a lot of these Trump things are being dug up on him, kind of exonerating him to a degree on his whole quote unquote racist position. I've always said that Trump is not racist. He's classist. He just don't like poor people. He don't care what color you are. But I'm starting to hear people dig up. This is stuff the media seem to not play, the sound bites. But when you play the rest of it for context, it says, oh, he said that part right before it, and he said that part after it, which makes the whole sentence make sense. But CNN or MSNBC or whoever only gave us this part, which got people all riled up. Why didn't y'all play the whole sentence? Why don't you play the whole soundbite? How come you didn't? Why don't you play? Why are people digging up old school VHS tape videos from the 90s of Trump doing certain things that would not make him look the way that the media is trying to paint him as? I think that's a really interesting thing that's actually happening these days. And I don't think it's being driven by his campaign. I think people are just finding him and saying, hey, man, here's some more information on this guy. What do you think about this?
Boy, y'all beating the crap out this bee's nest and making stuff fly. There's so many points that I want to address, so I'll take my time with it. LaFleur, it's good to meet you, but I got to push back automatically. When you start pointing out tropes that people usually push out about her criminal record and what she did with people, you'll find out it's under 60 that actually got convicted under her pen. And I'm hearing all this week, oh, the biggest thing they want to point out is she's not black, and then Mark is pointing out an outlier regarding the truancy, because that's not the norm. If you out there has to be a deterrent for you getting back in line with what society needs you to do. And we got a lot of people that are out of line, and that's not helping us progressively as people. So I don't know why you would choose to point that out, because there's outliers for everything. Now, as for her being competent, you could say all of them lie, they do. I agree with Shane. You understand? It's all about selling your story the best to be persuasive so that you can elicit the most votes. Then you do what you do for your party. That's why I understand that Shan is a conservative. He's going to do what's best for him and his household. At the end of the day, that's one of my brothers. I may not have to agree with it, but you know what? I lower my voice and I strengthen my argument. All the brothers up here know I'm not voting for a rapist, a man that has shows racist tendencies aligned with David Duke and other people that come from that ilk. You understand? You will never get me to back somebody that took out a 2-page article to execute 5 innocent brothers, and when during his presidency he was addressed about it, And he said they probably did something. And at that point in time, New York City's police force was rife with corruption, just like LA. So they have something in common, because that went to the tops as for covering that up. Also covering up his grape of E. Jean Carroll. You need to look up that name and find out she didn't have no way but just to accept the civil suit and be gone. That gives me shades of Anita Hill and, good old Clarence Thomas. I'll do what I want to you, but if you ever challenge me, I'll push you up out of the system and people forget about you like, old drawers that you throw in the garbage. Let's talk about Janet. She's no better than Amber Rose. Wait a minute. Didn't she just hustle one of them Arabs for $500 million for having a baby? Let's not talk about that. Smile, Marcus. I remember that. The contract she signed. If it didn't work out, irreconcilable differences, I'm getting $500 million from this man. We don't want to talk about that, do we? It's fact.
Let's talk about it. Before we move on to the next thing, let's address one of the things you said. You said, I won't vote for a man who is a staunch racist who took out a 2-page ad in the paper. He didn't say nothing specifically about them boys, but he did take the ad out. I give you that. But let me ask you this, Kenny. Have you been voting? Hold on. Let me just get to the question. Have you been voting Democrat your whole life?
Have I been voting Democrat? When I got my rights restored, yes.
Well, when did you start voting Democrat?
That would have to be when I was like in my 20s.
Did you vote for Joe Biden?
Yes, I did.
I think I can rest my case on that.
Okay, so pardon me.
I don't know.
I voted for Joe Biden. Joe Biden is no better. I remember the crime bill. You understand? I remember what he called us.
You remember who his friends are?
Whose funeral he used the N-word. Yes. But you know what? I weighed the two. I weighed who was in back of him that would keep him in line, because all of them got handlers. Would you disagree?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so when McConnell was staunchly against Trump, when they all got him in line and pulled him in that room and threatened to give him a towel beating, we needs to get these things passed. Don't play with us. You never heard a Republican during that time made a peep or fight against them because they were getting what they wanted. The good old boy system. You do recall that, right? Because McConnell changed his tune just like that. Remember, you got the right one tonight. And that works the same with Democrats. But I gave you solid reasons of why I can never back a man against those of my color.
I'm saying you backed Joe Biden. But you backed Joe Biden.
I backed Joe Biden because I realized who was behind it. I realized we couldn't have somebody that was tearing down the rating of our country to world leaders around the world. America lost its A++ standard while Trump was in office. Most world leaders did not respect him. Is that true or not true?
I don't know that to be a fact.
Okay, so I guess you weren't paying attention.
I've heard people say that, but I don't know that to be a fact. What I do know is when Trump met with the Taliban and they told him that they was going to keep shooting soldiers, he walked in that room and handed them a postcard at his house and told him, you kill another American, we're going to blow your crib up. I think that's pretty respectful because they ain't shoot nobody for at least 9 months after that. Am I lying about that?
Okay, you're not. But that's comparable to when Obama took out, Obama bin Laden. That was something that needed to be done. Correct? No. So what are you saying? They all do something to make the country look strong and galvanize the country. They all pick somebody. Hold on. They all pick somebody that they were once allied with and then destroy them. That's mafioso at its biggest. There's no other place that I wish to live in the land of milk and honey rather than what we can't call third world countries again. I prefer to be under the wing of the devil than in front of him.
Let me ask you this,
blind and ignorant to where we live. You understand? And the rights afforded to us. My dad should be one of those stars up on that wall. You understand? So I don't discredit what was done so we can have our freedoms. But I'm gonna call a spade a spade.